Hey there, I'm Dr. Jim. Great topic. You know I love CBD. I've written a book about CBD, Living Longer and Stronger with CBD, after reading between 5 to 600 medical studies. And I continue to read and research pretty passionately because the science keeps developing. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of articles in the academic literature, in the medical literature, biological, chemical, plant-based literature. It goes on and on and on, and it's fascinating, and we keep learning more. Personally, I keep digging and reading way beyond my scope of understanding. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a biologist, so it does take me a long time to read a 27-page medical article on the chemistry and bioactivity concerning how CBD literally works in the body, in the brain, connecting with receptors and ion channels and fatty acids and neurotransmitters and everything else. It's amazing. All of that reading and research leads me to various topics that I want to share with you. This is a good one: CBD and neuropsychiatric disorders. Cannabidiol, or CBD for short, has been proposed as a treatment for a variety of neuropsychiatric conditions, including depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, other psychotic disorders, and anxiety. It does appear to have, now this is really amazing. I do a radio show here in town. It's WKBN. You could find it online, as a matter of fact. WKBN, broadcast out of Youngstown, Ohio. The two DJs or VJs or whatever, they're talk show hosts, Dan Rivers and Ron Verb. I do their shows a lot every month. And just a couple days ago, I was on for an hour and a half talking about the poly-pharmacological abilities of CBD. And let me set the stage. Generally speaking, in medicine, one medication is for the treatment of one disorder. One treatment generally impacts 1 to 2 different targets, okay? Depression, for instance, let's take that one. We take Zoloft, Paxil, Prozac, Cymbalta, and the molecules within those medications bind with certain neurotransmitter receptors to go to work to do their job. Okay, so they're attaching to 1 or 2 targets. CBD, from the time I'm filming this right now, is known to attach to 57 targets in the body. That is incredibly important for you to know, because when people say CBD is snake oil, how can it be an anti-inflammatory? It's good for anxiety. It's possibly good for cancer and diabetes and Alzheimer's and lupus and this and that and the other thing. Come on. Look at the targets for treatment for each one of those disorders or diagnoses, and then look up the research on CBD, and you'll find that CBD hits the targets on a number of pathways, channels, receptors that are responsible for treating those disorders. Poly-pharmacological abilities, so meaning it can interact within the endocannabinoid system as well as outside the endocannabinoid system with various receptors, proteins, and cerebral glucose, just to name a few. Although research in this area is still in its infancy, and that's why I'm so on fire about this stuff, because it is booming every day, the findings do appear to be promising. So what are neuropsychiatric disorders? Let's define what these things are. So neuropsychiatric is sort of a catch-all term for conditions that affect brain function, mood, and emotions. That's what makes them neuropsychiatric. It involves both neurology and psychiatry and the interplay between the nervous system and psychiatric disorders, including the following: major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and other psychotic disorders, anxiety disorders, substance abuse disorders, and autism spectrum disorders. So, how does CBD help with depression and anxiety? This is where it gets very complicated. CBD initiates a complex cascade of biological events in the body and brain and has been shown in preclinical studies with mice, rats, rodents to increase brain-derived neurotropic factor, or BDNF for short, protein, which is a biomarker for depression and anxiety. In other words, it's a target for treatment. BDNF is also associated with serotonergic transmission, serotonin, responsible for wake, sleep, appetite, mood, and the development of serotonergic neurons. These are key players or targets, once again, in depression and anxiety. CBD also binds with GABA receptors, resulting in anticonvulsant and anxiolytic or anti-anxiety effects. It's all in the chemistry. It's all in the bioactivity of all these fabulous things in our bodies and our brains. What about CBD and psychosis? Another example of CBD's ability to interact with multiple receptors in the body is illustrated by its activation of PPAR-Y. What is this? It's a nuclear receptor protein that regulates expression of genes. By boosting one particular gene, or not a gene, but an endocannabinoid receptor, it's called anandamide, or AEA. So it's stimulating AEA, which binds with PPAR-Y. Again, complicated chemistry. I hope you're not falling asleep on me here. CBD appears to have antipsychotic effects. It's all about the chemicals. It's all about the biology of our bodies and our brains, and the minute, so small we can't see. Those are the things that are doing the magic. When CBD interacts in the body, it clicks with endocannabinoid receptor cells, which go to work with other things, with proteins, for instance, in our bodies, with neurotransmitters in our brain, that we see a decrease in anxiety, a decrease in hallucinations and delusions, a decrease in depression. Complex stuff. I try my best to research the most complicated, headache-inducing stuff and then write simple articles and share videos with you. So I hope you enjoy them. I'm Dr. Jim. Stay in touch with me. collinslearning.com, ceu.academy, sapphire-essentials.com, my blog, drjimcollins.com. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. I hope you keep coming back for more. Thank you for watching the video, and I'd like to show you my new book, Living Longer and Stronger with CBD. Took me about a year and a half to write as I scanned hundreds of articles in prestigious journals, peer-reviewed medical studies, examining the effects of CBD for various physical conditions, emotional and mental issues, and neurodegenerative conditions. And I condensed all of those findings into one book. I believe that there's something in here for everyone. So if you're interested, follow the link to the book on Amazon. Thank you so much.